Hello and welcome to Rig's Guide to Setting Up a Server. This tutorial is meant to get you up and running your own gaming server. We are going to specifically be setting up a server for 7 days to die, but it can also be used for other servers, especially a lot of the first parts here, like setting up a static IP, port forwarding, etc., etc. So, to get started, we are going to set up a static IP first. So, different versions of Windows, little different ways of getting here. But Windows 10, we're going to right click on the Start button and go to your control panel. Once the control panel is up, we're going to go to Network and Internet, Sharing, Adapter Settings. Now, I have multiple adapters here for virtual machines, wireless, wired, etc. I do highly suggest using a wired connection whenever you're doing a server of any kind. In this particular case, this is going to be our active Ethernet connection that we're going to be using. So we're going to go to Properties on this, and Internet Protocol version 4 and Properties. Normally the defaults here are going to be obtain IP addresses automatically. As you see, it does require some information. Let me actually close this and move this out of the way for a second. You'll see why in a second. So, to obtain the information that we need, go back to the Windows button, type in cmd IP config. So this will give us the current connections and some of the wonderful information we need for this. Let's see. So switch this over to use the following information. The IP address that I'd like to use is going to be 10.238.146, and I'd actually like it to be 150 rather than the 149 that it shows there on the screen. Subnet mask will stay the same, which is different than what's on the screen. Let's see here, 255.255.0. And the default gateway, extremely important, can't get connected without it, 10.238.146.143. Do not be surprised at all if your router has a 192 address rather than the 10 base. Just different settings for different routers. Long story on that, but just kind of follow along with it. What's important is the end of your IP address is something that the router can handle, and just I like to start a little higher up so that the router's not going to accidentally allocate that address to a different device if it connects to the router first. Yeah, just kind of a personal preference there. For the DNS server, I like to use Google's, so we're going to do 8.8.8.8, and the alternate for Google is 8.8.4.4. Validate upon exit, hit OK, hit close. We normally do get some error messages from Windows because it's being disconnected and reconnected. A quick check to ensure that we are up and running. We'll do a ping google.com. So we are able to ping. That's fantastic. I can close this out. And now I'm going to open a web page real quick. Let's get maybe woot.com. So web pages are loading. So now every time this computer is disconnected from the web or reconnected, routers turned off, power outage, etc., it will always be given the same IP address, which is extremely important with setting up a router. The next recording will be based on the router itself doing some port forwarding, and we'll see you next time. Rigs out.